pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. The original agenda listed an executive committee meeting. That was canceled. We had no executive committee meeting. Moving on the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion for approval of minutes for
Motion
March
to approve.
7th.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Executive session minutes on March 27th.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion made. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. We have no correspondence. Public comments on agenda items 7 to 15. We have no one signed up. Item number 7, consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Pilata, members of the committee. Our first item is to recognize the repeat cheerleading state coach of the year, Ms. Gianna Nassi. Come on up, Gianna. We would like to recognize on behalf of the school committee and the school department, citation will be presented. Come on over. For being selected as the RICA, Rhode Island Cheerleading Coaches Association, Division II Coach of the Year for the 3rd time in 6 years. This award goes to the coach that goes above and beyond to make their program successful. The Cougar Cheer Team is one of the premier programs, not only in Division II, but in the state of Rhode Island. The team excels at both the sideline cheer and the competition cheer divisions each season. Gianna runs very thorough practices and continually gets the best out of her athletes in each of the seasons. It is great to see the team on the sidelines, in the bleachers, and at their competitions, showing everyone the true meaning of Cougar pride. Gianna is also the current president of the Rhode Island Cheerleading Association. We could not be happier for her on this accomplishment and look forward to each season to see what they have in store for competition. Just as a side note, I am involved still, thank God, with the Rhode Island Interscholastic League, and I interact with Mike Lunny and Tom Marcel all the time. And every time I run into them, they ask me, can we steal Gianna Nassi from you? It is such a breeze to deal with the Cheerleading Association now, since she has become president. So thank you for everything that you've done, especially as a dad of a cheerleader, who cheerleaded, my daughter cheerleaded right through college, from high school and youth leagues. You are good guidance to her as well. Thank you for all that you do for our student athletes.
We have a nice citation for you, Gianna. Town of North Providence School Committee citation. Be it hereby known to all that the North Providence School Committee hereby offers its sincerest congratulations to Gianna Nassi, the 2024 Rhode Island Cheerleading Coach Association Division II Coach of the Year. The entire membership extends its very best wishes on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued success. Proposed on this 24th day of April 2024, signed by myself and Superintendent Goho. Congratulations. You're welcome to speak if you want.
I'd like to recognize Gianna's mom and dad, Joey and Debbie Nassi. Thank you for coming and all the support you provide to her. We appreciate it very much.
Okay.
All set? Thank you. Next item, I would like to invite Tracy Donnelly from SLAM. I don't know if you have anybody else with you. Did I say SLAM? You're working with Studio Jade now. Thank you. So, yes, Kathy's here from SLAM. Okay, so the purpose of the presentation is to seek the school committee approval in accordance with Rhode Island Department of Education timelines after this presentation to approve the design updates for Greystone Elementary and Waystone Elementary for submission to the RIDE School Building Authority. The podium is yours.
Thank you. Tracy Donnelly, Studio Jade.
Kathy Ellithorpe from SLAM.
We'll give a brief update, and as the superintendent had mentioned, we are looking for authorization to submit the DD through RIDE's portal and the SBA to get approval and continue moving forward. So just to go through the agenda, we'll give a brief update. We'll talk about the next steps and the schedule. We'll also be giving an update on the high school administration project, the high school auditorium project, and requesting authorization to submit both Wayland and Greystone design development to RIDE SBA. Continuing to develop, we've been working on budget reconciliation meetings. We have been looking at some VE items. We've accepted some and incorporated those into the documents. Those include reduction in sidewalks, reduced quantity of borrowed lights, removal of mechanical roof screens, reduced quantity of tile wainscoting, reduction of rubber play surfaces, pitch roof. We're omitting some of the insulation at the canopies and removing some perimeter chain link fencing. All play areas, of course, would still be fully fenced. And then an update on the budget reconciliation. This is hard cost only. This does not include soft costs. But Wayland, we had two estimates done. One came in at $33,979,475. The contractor's estimate was $33,859,805. And Greystone, $54,617,320. And the contractor's estimate, $53,904,229. And then this is the latest edition of Wayland's site plan. You can see that, as previously discussed, we had moved the parking area towards Middle Spring Avenue. We have two play areas between the parking area and the building. The building is located in the corner so that the existing elementary school can remain operational during the construction. We do have parent drop-off lanes, so you can pull off of the road and have some sidewalk area where the kids can get direct access. We also have a parent drop-off loop, and that continues around the perimeter of the building. These are the two floor plans. We have a main level, and then we have a partial lower level. The lower level is more like a walkout basement where we have full access. You do not have to access any stairs to get in and out of both exit doors. And the classrooms located along the street would have full windows. It's not like below grade on that side. And then the main level, we have a secure entrance, we have administration, we have the kindergarten, first and second grade, the dining commons, a movement space, media center, art room, and some support. The lower level, we have the third, fourth, and fifth. This is a two-track school, so there are two classrooms per grade. And in between each of the two classrooms, there's a breakout area where individuals can go and have specific help if they need that. These are the elevations. So as I mentioned, primarily a one-story school. The raised portion is the gym movement area, which has a sloped roof. Turn it over to Kathy.
Thank you. So this is the site plan for Greystone. Similar to the other project, the existing school will stay up and running as this school is built. So the site plan is cropped a little bit. The existing school is to the bottom of the sheet. The area to the bottom, once the school is demolished, will be an open play area. It'll also have some hardscape and a playground structure on it. In the center area of the U shape is also some additional play area. That's where the pre-K enclosed play areas will be. There's 2 of them out there. This is the building that will have, I believe all of your pre-Ks in the district will now be going here into 5 classrooms. Circulation on the site, we've got buses coming in on the left-hand side, and cars will circulate through on the right-hand side, so that we've been able to keep bus and drop-off circulation separate. It's as you guys know, it's a tight little neighborhood, so we wanted to do our best to keep those things out of each other's way. Similar to the other building, we're a 2-story, except our second story is a half story, and it's actually fully above grade. We only have at grade access from this main floor. The lower wing is where the 5 pre-Ks and the 4 kindergarten classrooms are, as well as 1 intensive academic space. And the blue space on the far end is a teacher resource and workspace. The main entry is in the lower left corner, where you see blue flanking both sides of the yellow circulation. The nurses area is the blue square to the right of the entry, and the longer blue bar is the administration wing. And right on top of that, the purple space is the art space. So the art space opens up onto that aqua colored area, which is the cafeteria, and the kitchen is tucked up to the top. The gym is the big green box on the end, which actually faces what we consider the front. Towards that big parking area where the buses come. And then the wing, that's actually a 2-story wing at the top. That's got your 1st and 2nd graders on this floor, as well as the media center, a music room, and another blue space, which is more teacher resource space. And as we go upstairs, the area that's colored green is actually looking in from up above into the gym. We have a couple of windows in those rooms on the end. But so the main bar of the 2nd floor is all that classroom space. So closest to the gym, we've called it out as a 5th grade area. You guys can designate however works best for you. With 3rd and 4th grade, the 4 classrooms looking at each other at the other end of the hallway. There's 1 more intensive academic space on this upper floor. All floors have a complement of bathrooms. There is an elevator centrally located to that space as well. And similarly, some elevations. So the center image is probably the easier to understand because it's looking from sort of from the playground area back at the front door. You can see how the 2-story area stacks behind the 1-story area.
Okay, and then this is the current project that's going on at the end of this building, the administration addition. And as you could all see, as you came to the site, the structural metal framing is ongoing. They're prepping for some of the lighting and doing some of the enclosure of the building. And then this is the high school auditorium. You can see all the acoustic panels are up. They're starting to put down the epoxy flooring, and the mayor did stop by and give us approval. That's it. If anyone has any questions, we can answer any questions.
So just a couple pieces of information that I just want to put out there, and then if the committee has any questions. So I sit every Tuesday, as you know, with Mr. Fioroli, who could not be here tonight. He is traveling out of state. But we sit every Tuesday at the planning meetings for both the auditorium and also the admin building. So if you recall, members of the committee, the school department wrote 2 grants to the State Department of Education called Facility Equity Grants. And we were granted 2 grants, up to $3.8 million for the auditorium, which you see. It's coming beautiful. It's on time to be finished sometime over the summer, including the front foyer, which will have a new floor with a logo in the middle of the floor and new front doors leading to the outside. And it'll be ready for full occupation by the school and the students when school starts. And there will be a groundbreaking in September. The other facility equity grant that we wrote and received was for the library. And everybody that comes to these meetings, you know what the library used to look like. This library media center, another grant written by the school department, looks fantastic. So we are very happy with all of the support that Studio Jade and Slam and Left Field has provided with both of these projects. The admin building is coming along great. They're expecting that by June 1st, it'll be completely sealed on the outside. And sometime in the late summer, midsummer, late summer, early September, we should be able to relocate. The plan would be to maintain a registration office at the current location until we're fully transitioned over to the new building. But that's coming along great as well. So at this point, if the committee has any questions regarding these projects or the schools, then we will need a motion to approve.
Yeah, just one comment. I just want to reassure the public again that students will continue to attend Wayland and Greystone while construction is taking place. Students will not be relocated to any other building.
That is correct.
Thank you. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the design updates.
Motion made to approve.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is I would request a motion to approve the Algebra 1 Readiness Skills Grant. Thank you to Mrs. Seitzinger for obtaining this grant and the enclosed MOU with the Department of Education and also Maria Branco and the High School Mathematics Department for assisting with this.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item D.
Next item is the Assistant Superintendent update. I know it's been a very busy month for you. You've been doing a great job ably overseeing, along with Ms. Van Avery, implementation of RICAS state testing. So, Mrs. Seitzinger, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Superintendent Gohan and members of the school committee. Good evening. Yeah, it's been a busy time, but wonderful. RICAS testing is going very well. Also, SAT and PSAT. I want to thank Maria Branco, who is the test coordinator at the high school, and Mrs. McGill and their whole team. Also, on April 2nd, we conducted our District Professional Development Day. Middle school and high school engaged in safety or active shooter training. All schools were involved in different collaborative professional learning activities, and it really was a positive day this past April. And the exit slip that I do through our frontline system really indicates some very favorable results that people are learning and they can apply what they've learned to the classroom. We're continuing our April and May grade level meetings at the elementary level, also some content meetings in a different way because we're lacking a lot of substitute coverage, as you know, across every district. So we're working around that and doing things at the school level with teachers meeting with our coaches and principals, and that's working out really well. And also continuing our curriculum committees, ELA, math, science, that's going really well. And again, the work that we've done in those committees has really supported the work with the RICAS assessments and the other assessments at the high school as well. We are planning on our Health and Wellness District Week in May again, May 20th to the 24th. So we're looking forward to that, having health and wellness activities at all levels. And we also recently had RIDE visit our elementary schools, a couple of them, to look at our comprehensive literacy grant work. They were very impressed and pleased with the progress that they've seen. This is the 4th year of that grant, the final year, that we received back in 2020 or so. That was a $700,000 grant, which helped us to receive the curriculum and also hire coaches and really work well with our students and staff. And then learning walks are continuing across the district, and we're winding up that work this year. And that's really been great in terms of feedback to teachers and principals and staff in terms of best practices in instruction. And also wanted to mention the kindergarten registration went very well in March, and I have some few pictures there for you to look at. And that's it.
Thank you, Mrs. Isaacson.
Just one question, Louise. K registration, is it pretty much on target what it has been in the past?
Yes, based on the numbers I know currently, it's very similar to what we've done in the past. What happens is we tend to get an influx in the summer, and then especially in August. But currently, we're pretty much on par as far as class size. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
One thing I would like to add, and Mrs. Picard would be very happy to hear this, and she probably knows about it, but what has helped us with the kindergarten registrations, and really all of our registrations, is that our new data director, David McNally, has transitioned the district to have an online registration capacity that we're finding very successful and very user-friendly for our community.
It's been going very well, very efficient, and I really appreciate David McNally's support with that, and our registration clerk too. She's doing a great job, and the whole team.
Thank you. That completes item number 8. Item number 9, we have no school committee reports. Item number 10, old business, we have no old business. Item number 11, new business. Mr. Goho.
Thank you, Dr. Plata. I am very excited about the transformation that is occurring, obviously, in all of our school buildings, but also one particular area at the high school used by our physical education classes and their curriculum, but also our high school athletes, which is to transform the physical education and athletics training room, which we have done in a number of ways, by upgrading the training room, new flooring, new ice bath, new ice machine, dehumidifiers, industrial dehumidifiers down in that basement facility, new paint job, wrapping of the doors. The kids are really excited about how great it looks down there. And they're excited about training and implementing physical fitness in that curriculum in that room as well. One of the things that we've prioritized is we need to replace the weights in that room. They are corroded, rusted, not suitable for use. So Mr. Ficcacelli, working with the physical education department chair, Ms. DeNoble, brought in some companies, received multiple quotes, and they chose a company, both of which were on the NPA, to upgrade the weights and equipment for that room, and I am asking approval from the committee to approve the quote that is submitted in your packet.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B.
One point of reference, Ms. Casanelli knows this will be paid out of fund balance. Says it is a one-time capital expenditure appropriate for fund balance use. Okay. Next item, I would like to request the school committee to approve the quote submitted to replace the flooring that is in need of repair and replacement at North Providence High School, both on the side of the administration and on the side of guidance. The flooring is old, it is worn, it is torn. We had a company on this, 2 companies on the state master price list come in to replace, to give us a quote on the flooring. So I would ask approval by the committee.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Goho. Item number 12, approval of bills.
Motion made to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
Any questions?
Just a comment. They're very well done, as usual. Thank you.
Lisa, everyone misses my question. I just want you to know. When you first started, I would get asked the question. I used to ask, everything done is to legal or to policy.
Yes,
But
she's
see,
right.
now we don't have to go right through that.
Yeah, and I can, it's a good point that you bring up, and I can assure the committee, with the help of Ms. Lazareski and Ms. Casanelli,
Yeah.
they and we are on everything, and there is nothing that comes before this committee that is not followed the procurement policy. Same thing with everything that goes on with Ms. Van Avery and Ms. Seisinger. Every dollar that comes through the school department, grant funded, state funded, fundraised, budget, everything. We follow the procurement policy, which means anything over $1,000, we obtain 3 quotes. Anything over $5,000, we go out to bid, or we solicit companies, more than one, from the NPA. There will never be an item before you that has not followed that process. They know that we know, and we all look at it.
And on those rare occasions when I
And
have,
we call people when we have questions, even if we have to put them on speakerphone.
said on those rare occasions when I have a question, I simply email and I get a prompt response, and it's perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, we did.
Item,
No, we have to take the vote. That was discussion.
no other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
That was the motion.
We just did.
Item number 13, use of property requests. Without objection, we did receive a letter from St. Anthony's Parish requesting the use of the Wayland School parking lot
No, that's it.
Friday, June 7th through June 9th. Chair will entertain a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Are we,
Going back to use of property requests.
so, move to accept, but I want to talk about it.
Second.
Any questions on the use of property?
Yes, I want to talk about
Mr.
the
De Silva.
basketball league that put in their requests. But they didn't put the one in for their soiree that they have or the end of the year event. And they don't need to put a date, so we could communicate that to them, get it here for next month, so that we don't have special meetings and emails going back and forth. Also, I think we need to look at supervision of the evening gyms at Birchwood and Ritchie, having attended some of those. Kids in the school, and these are youngsters, they're not, 5 and 6, these are tweens and teens, and they're running outside, and, it's dark in the winter, and it's safety. And I just think they need to tighten up, and perhaps we need to ask them to give us people who are going to supervise that. I'm not concerned about the Saturday mornings or the practice sessions, but it's Ritchie and Birchwood, specifically Birchwood.
Yeah, so I could just comment, Mr. De Silva. So Attorney Scungio has taken our feedback. He knows all of the circumstances that we've had to deal with various organizations using the property and having incidents occur at those properties. We're all aware of the incident that took place, very well publicized. We've got in the youth league. So you are in the process of taking current document that we have and separating it into a policy and protocol, which we will be bringing forward to the school committee, which will incorporate the legal language and then the rules, right, expectations of the school committee regarding us granting people the ability to use our facilities.
Correct.
And doing so in an appropriate manner. So that will include also, especially for outside organizations and even our own internal youth leagues, designating the supervisor for events. Again, everybody knows what occurred at that 5-year-old basketball game. But also, as you point out, Mr. De Silva, we have gotten concerns and complaints about the coaches coaching the game have been designated as the supervisors.
They can't do both.
They can't do both, and then we have kids and various things happening outside of the gym and in the rest of the school, people running in and out of the building. So that's all going to have to be addressed. They're going to have to appoint supervisors.
Yeah, and my concern about children, well, they're not tweens, the 13s and the 14s, they're teenagers, I guess, running in and out, is once they're outside, who's supervising them? Anybody could be driving through that parking lot, and then, it's a matter of safety. So it needs to be tightened up.
Yeah, in general, we've had outstanding relationship with all of the people who use our facilities. This was an isolated event, and we need to keep it that way.
Yeah, the event was among adults, but, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this league has been using our gyms for a long time. We've always had, I was part of that league. My son played in that league, and we always had good relations. We just need to ramp up the supervision and the safety concerns.
Let me also mention regarding the end of the year event. As soon as we received that use of property, I found out from the facilities director secretary that she immediately questioned them about the fact that the end of the year event was not listed, as we said, which is to just put it on the use of property
Don't
in
put
the
a
month of
date.
March. And he said, "Oh, I know, I can do that. I'm just going to send him another form." So they have been told already.
I will text him.
Despite the fact it's a good suggestion, we've already done it.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 14, request to address the committee. We have none listed here. But I see some new faces in the crowd. I'm not sure if you probably don't know the protocol, but there's two ways to address the committee. You can submit a written request to address the committee, and that would be put on the agenda. Or you could sign up uh, on the sheet when you walk in the door, and you can address the committee. But if it's not on the agenda, the committee cannot address the issue or take a vote on it. But I assume you have your hand up. You'd like to speak to the committee. You want to come to the microphone?
Timing is, yeah. Timing is.
According to our rules, you have 5 minutes. Okay. Just state your name for the record.
My name is Amy Blumenthal, and I live close to the school on the other side of Mineral Spring. And I got a letter stating that even though my son has been taking the bus for 4 years, he's now too close to the school to take the bus for his last year at Stephen only. I have a couple concerns with this because this isn't only my son not being able to take a bus problem, but this is also congestion at the school that you're adding to. Because when I do drop my son off, there's about a 45-minute wait to drop him off in the morning or at night to pick him up. So now you're congesting that whole road up the school even more. In addition to, there is not enough after-school care for children as it is. So a lot of these parents that now can't take the bus are going to be submitting into an after-school program, which is already full, which I have not been able to get into for the last 2 years. I've had to change my job to be able to accommodate this. And now there's going to be more people that are going to have my same issue. So I understand that there's more people coming into North Providence school system, but I think we need to address some of these additional issues.
As far as our responsibility is concerned, we took a lot of that into consideration. We passed a new policy, which the original mileage from the school was 1 mile. We reduced that to 3/4 of a mile to accommodate the elementary kids. The bus company and our transportation office work together. We also involve the police department if necessary when it's a question of safety. So I don't know if Mr. Goho, if you want to speak to that.
Yeah, so, I mean, everybody's well aware of the issues that have arisen from the letters that Durham has sent to certain families as a result of them plotting out their bus routes for next year. We certainly understand that transportation and childcare before and after school is a very important topic for families, and we share your seriousness on this matter as well. So both the bus company and the school department, our transportation director, Mr. Ferroli, as I said, can't be here tonight, but we've been in constant communication, and also with Durham School Services. We've spoken to numerous families, and many on a very positive note and resolution. Essentially, we have told parents, and we will reiterate that again to you tonight, over the coming weeks, the director of transportation, working with the police department, our crossing guard supervisor, and the bus company, will be reviewing the bus routes and literally walking some of the bus routes. If there are any errors regarding distance, and as Dr. Pallotta mentioned, the school committee last month already took action to increase support for families and students, because as Dr. Pallotta mentioned, what the committee did was the previous distance requirement for a student to be eligible for transportation was a mile at all 3 levels, elementary, middle, and high. And the committee voted to lower that requirement at the elementary level, especially considering our redistricting and the combining of the schools. They thought it made sense to provide more opportunities for more students and more families to be eligible for transportation. So if there are any errors regarding that distance, they will be rectified. And further, as Dr. Pallotta mentioned, if there are any safety concerns or any unique circumstances with any individual families, they will be considered and reviewed and accommodated appropriately. Ultimately, the contract that the district has with Durham requires Durham to transport students who are eligible for transportation by school committee policy. The district is unable to breach that contract by deviating from it or from the policy. The legal responsibility of the district, first and foremost, is to provide every transportation eligible student with a seat on a bus. And along with that, the legal responsibility of the district is to transport students who are eligible for transportation to school on time and back home in a reasonable manner and on time and safely. So that is our primary goal, and we will continue to work with all individual families that we have been over the last several days to bring a lot of these situations to conclusion. As I stated, the school committee has already acted in a way to accommodate more families to be eligible for transportation, and both Durham and my transportation office have reported to me literally right before this meeting, giving me an update that the large majority of issues raised by concerned parents that we have interacted with and communicated with have been resolved very positively. I do agree with you on the issue of the congestion at Stephen Only School. That has been an ongoing issue that the police department and the SROs have been working on. As I know, the traffic patterns have been looked at and adjusted, so we're hoping to see some sort of improvement there as well. But I do thank you for coming, and feel free to please contact any of the three entities: the transportation office, my office, and then Durham School Services. And we will deal with every family individually and hope to bring all of these concerns to a resolution.
When will you have a follow-up? Like, when should we follow up with you about your findings on that walk? Because I want to make sure that you're walking it at a school time during school hours, because the traffic patterns on Douglas and Middle Spring change. And if you're doing it in the summer or on a vacation break, it's not going to have the same traffic. There are people that get road rage they're late for work, they're late for whatever they need to get to, and I've seen almost the crossing guards get hit by cars.
Yeah.
So it is a big concern, the safety.
Yes, I agree. So Mr. Fioroli, I already talked to him about this process. He will be working with our crossing guard supervisor, Ms. Volante. We've already discussed the need to likely reposition and add additional crossing guards. They will be coordinating with our school resource officers and with the North Providence Police Department on a schedule to walk the routes that need to be inspected, and that will be done certainly before school gets out. It doesn't make sense to do bus routes or walking routes in the summer when there are not much traffic.
When should we follow up with you then?
You can follow up anytime, but I would say, Mr. Ferroli is away for the next week. So, I would say certainly before Memorial Day. But, emails, phone calls, whatever, it's not a bother to us. So whenever you feel that you need to know some further information, contact us anytime.
Okay, thank you.
And we hope to have a resolution to many of these concerns before we let out in June.
Thank you.
Just like Dr. Pilata said, as a reminder, I actually will request that transportation policy just be up for discussion so that we can have the conversation there, so that people feel like they're being heard. I think it's important. I'm a parent. I had children go to Stephen Only. I understand, but I had children at the old school with congestion and children at the new school with congestion. I know Principal Pacito does an excellent job, so I'm confident that Superintendent Gohel, the police, and the principal will work diligently to hear your resolution. But just as a caution, I will ask the superintendent to put transportation back on the agenda for May, so we can make sure that if something doesn't happen or that people don't feel heard, that there is an avenue to speak and that we can comment and take some action if necessary. Our meeting is always the 4th. Typically, it's the 4th Wednesday of the month. And after that, if there's other concerns, always know that your request to address committees should happen. It says about 78 to 72 hours prior, but I would say the week before our meeting, you can request that. You would just submit that to the superintendent secretary. But I appreciate that you all came out. I recognize that transportation is never easy, and it's a different world today than when we asked children to walk years ago. So please know, I don't want to speak for my colleagues, but I know we all take safety very seriously, and that while we do have policies in place and we have to adhere to our policies, that we also want to make sure that our decisions make sense. So thank you for coming tonight.
Yes, ma'am, you want to speak?
The person said her name. You'll have to watch the video. Well, you can ask. Oh, yeah.
Just a reminder, you have 5 minutes, and just state your name for the record.
Lori Capuano. Lori Capuano. My husband and I, family lives on Sunset Avenue, and I just want to address. We live literally 1 mile from the school. We got the letter that says 0.89, but I don't even want to talk about that. I want to talk about the safety aspect of it because my daughter, who's 12, at the middle school, is struggling with the transition to middle school. So when we talk safety, I also want to talk mental health. The kid does not want to go at all. It has been a horrible transition. She was great at elementary school. So if I have to tell her now that she has an 18-minute walk compared, according to Google, that's not going to go over very well. I mean, we don't let her walk to the corner store. Why would we allow her to walk down Smith Street or even the side streets that they have mapped out? She may be 12, but she looks 9. She could, in this day and age, it's just not, we'll sell our house, put it on the market, and leave North Providence before we allow her to walk to school. It's not going to happen. My son did the same exact bus stop 5 years. He's a junior in this school right now. I believe the policy was always 1 mile, so the letter said it was an error, and that's a really long error. So when we purchased our home 2 years ago, we took consideration about the busing before we decided to stay here. So I feel like that's a really big problem. We do the active shooter drills at school for when they're in the building. What about safety when they're not? Walking these streets it's not safe in this day and age. You could have an increase of car accidents. They're going to have an increase of, 8th graders or any grade really walking. The rotaries, I can't even imagine having a child that would have to go through Middle Spring Avenue. So I just feel like this is a really big problem, like I said, and as you can see, I'm nervous. I don't speak. Like, I haven't been to one of these meetings, so maybe over time you'll get sick of hearing from me. But in the meantime, I really do think that something needs to be readdressed because when I called, and I know you guys said that Durham, and you guys all talked about this, but when I called Durham, I called the school department, said call Durham. Durham said, you need to call them. I said, they told me to call you, and they said, oh, really? Well, that needs to stop. That was so it was like a little frustrating because I was also at work trying to make these phone calls. Again, thank you for your time, and I'm sure once I sit down, I'll think of a bunch of other things I wanted to say that I put in my phone that just died. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Plata, if I could just say one question. Thank you so much. So, as I had mentioned, we have a contract with Durham, and the contract that we have requires Durham to implement the transportation policy. And we are not allowed to deviate from that because then we would be in breach of contract. But as far as the calculation of the mileage, yes, we do tell people if you have any questions about that, Durham is who you need to speak to because they will explain to you the process that they use, the GPS software that they use, and how it calculates the distance. We do not have access to that. So when parents have questions we can't answer, we say, you're free to, you should be contacting Durham about that because they literally tell us who is eligible for transportation based on their programming and not the other way around. We don't tell them who's eligible. So I just want to clear up any confusion as to why people might be feeling like they're bounced around. The letter did come from Durham. It did say that they were the ones that had made the errors in terms of families being eligible. But as far as determining who is eligible, it's based on the Durham software and the Durham GPS tracking data. So I apologize for any miscommunication on that.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you for your input. Item number 14, we just addressed. Item number 15, we have no pending business. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion made, second. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.